dogs. I suppose you better. Well, just. Do you want to do it? Because I don't like doing intros. Everybody will know who you are, but
no, I was thinking I didn't really want to do sort of like because I'm not a bloody journalist, and I just wanted to talk, and I kind of wanted to not talk about it beforehand because I just wanted there's no agenda from me.
No, the good thing is I don't know anything about what you're about to tell me. I used to have a dog up until last summer. So go. What is it that you want to? What is it that we're here to discuss?
Well, I suppose where I'm coming from is obviously when you stood as for MHK and what you did in the summer, it was a lot of direct democracy kind of thing. And I read it all and I was mildly interested in it as a concept, and I just hadn't really made my mind up one way or the other about it. So, not linked, but kind of linked. Ramsey Town Commissioners have put out this consultancy thing, like government often likes to do as well, about our dog bylaws which are coming up for renewal. And we're saying, well, some people would like to walk their dog in areas which we've said are prohibited, mainly the Moorwood Park area. Dogs aren't allowed in there. So people are saying, well, we'd like to walk our dog under control on the lead or whatever through there. And we've put it out to the public to say, well, what do you think? And it's had quite a good response. I think it's been 400 responses to it.
In Ramsey?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which in the context of
That's
Ramsey,
amazing. Dog walkers.
Well, I suppose that kind of leads on to why I wanted to talk about it, because
that's amazing. 400 people. I'm gobsmacked.
Well, what was it? I think the equal rights, not equal rights, the gay marriage consultancy thing only got 180 or something from the government. So okay, it helps that we're doing it through SurveyMonkey. It's 4 questions. You can go on Facebook, click a link, and you're in there. So it's the convenience. You don't have to write in.
Yeah. How did you publicise it?
Through Facebook, through our website. And we talked about it at the Commissioners meeting, and there seemed to be a bit of a uptake and a bit of interest from it all. So, from my point of view, I firmly believe that going out and I want to be more. I hate the phrases, but I'd like to be more.
Try and avoid. Try describing this without using a buzzword.
Yeah, I know it's just not who I am.
I'm just going to ask you what you think. That's it. I'm not going to say any more.
I want us to be more transparent. I want more communication where we can with the people of Ramsey. But it's when we got 400 and such interest, it's suddenly, and I don't know how it's not finished. I don't know how the end result will be, but it struck me that actually, what if out of because there's 400 people, great. Ramsey's got 8,000 people in it. Yeah. So 400 still. If every single,
it's not the majority, but it's an incredible number, really.
Yeah. In the context of those sort of things.
In the context of local authority elections, which don't often. I think the local authority election in Port Erin didn't get that many people to vote for the actual commissioners.
The last the last by-election had around 400 people vote for North Ward, but when I stood, there wasn't enough people standing to have an election. So I mean, say what you will. So I was thinking, well, what if? And what I worry about is if there's a really keen dog walkers, they joke, dog walkers unite. What if they were all saying, actually, we really want this, so let's all get together, let's get Facebook groups, and all go on and say we want to go in a certain direction, and that may or may not be what's best or what we think. And then, so it made me think of you and your direct democracy thing. So I was just wondering how you envisage direct democracy working, because I know when you sort of stood, or not so much when you stood, but certainly in the summer when you were talking about your website, you came out from a view of, well, let's put it back to the people and I'll vote on the majority, I'll go the way the people want. Well, I'm now potentially in a situation where in a couple of weeks we'll be voting on what to do with our bylaws, and I might end up in a situation
where 800 people come back and say, no, you've got it wrong.
Exactly. 400 people said this in the consultancy. I say, okay, and then everyone's like, no.
I mean, entirely from the position that you're in now, that we're all in now. That's it. And you've just seen the same thing with issues today on to do with refugees and all that. 1,000 people have voted this. Who do they think they are? They're 1,000 people. Yeah. It's not a majority. It's not even close to a majority. It's a snapshot, and I think that is definitely a problem with the position that we're in now. Is that it's very easy for you to say, well, there's 400 people who want to change this to suit themselves. So what about the people who haven't voted? That is a very big problem, and I think I suppose from my own position would be that that's not likely to change until there's a more clear commitment. You know, again, we've had this comic situation this week in the Keys between Laurie and Chris. This conversation they had about consulting on consultants, and you know that they're looking for ways to improve their consultancy, and you know I've jokingly said to Chris in the past, well, for me the only thing you've got to do is be very clear about what it is that you're going to do, what the end result of this is going to be. Because if the end result of the process is, well, we'll think about it and we'll make our own mind up anyway, then there's not really a lot of motivation for me to get involved.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the way that you know a hardened direct democracy advocate would think of it, is that there's a logical process. What is my motivation for voting on anything if I don't? And that's what I would believe is the reason that we see such low turnouts, you know, in all elections, even the general election. The turnout was only just over 50%, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's everywhere. You know, that's not just the Isle of Man. And I think you know there is research into why people don't vote, and I think the general sort of consensus is that it's because people don't believe that anything will change. So I guess from your point of view, the 400 people that have said that they want to change, yes, that's great, and if you give them that opportunity, and I suppose in order to protect yourselves, all you can really do is publicise the fact that you've got 400 people who've expressed an opinion. I don't know what the percentage is that have expressed to go in whatever direction it is.
And neither do I yet.
Yeah, and so I suppose all you can do is make an equal effort to put that out there as, you know, because as that's all it comes down to really at the moment is making the effort to say, well, let's say 70% have said we want to make this change. This is the result that we're working on at the moment. You know, is there any other expressions of it? You know, is that actually, because ultimately, if nobody's paying attention, it will be that you'll change something, and they'll go, well, what the hell? Are we? All at the moment, the position we're in is that all you can do is, well, this is the process that we went through, and it was, you know, it was publicised and X, Y, and Z. Because you'll never get it right. You know, you'll never. Absolutely. Whatever you do, it'll be wrong by somebody for sure.
Yeah. Even if every single person in Ramsey voted on that, you'd still have.
You know, it's not that. I mean, I think that's probably one of the things that I've come across the most is this. You know, think, oh well, you know, you think that your idea is the best. And so, well, yeah, I think it's the best. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's for me. It's better than it's a step up from what we have at the moment, because you know you see it all the time in all of the discussions that you see on politics and all that. Oh well, this is what the majority think. Okay, well that's your opinion of what the majority think. It might be, but until we can begin a process of actually finding out if that's the truth, we are just all, you know, talking about hypotheticals, and that's the problem that's the position that you're in at the moment. That's the problem that you face, is that it's great. I mean, amazing that you've got that many people to actually respond, but you're still only dealing with a tiny percent, well, not tiny, a small percentage of the total people that you're representing.
Yeah, I mean, kind of touching on one thing you said. Certainly, one of the ways I was looking at the survey initially was, regardless of how the result is, at least it gives you kind of if people come back and sort of say, well, we strongly think one way, and commissioners or me personally think actually no, at least I know that that's where they're coming from, and I can give my reasons why I disagree, or and at least you've got that again open dialogue, or you can, because if you don't ask and just do in one direction, you haven't kind of got the ability to show, well, I've considered these aspects, and this is why I've gone in this direction.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you know, again, the conversations that I'm having with the group of people that we're talking to at the moment about setting up a party, that's a big part of it. Is how far do you go with direct democracy, and ultimately, my personal preference would be something similar to the Swiss constitution, where effectively you still have the same system that we have here. You still have representatives. You still have, you know, in Switzerland they have a full party system. They have all, you know, a range of parties and all the different ideas, and, you know, as you'd find pretty much anywhere else. The only real difference is that there's this overarching power over everything of the public to stop or to promote. So by and large, it's not used purely because it's there. So, if from your point of view as a representative, yeah, you can you could you could take that survey information and say, this is there's a snapshot of the people who've responded who are interested in this. I actually think that there's a little bit that they haven't considered, and this is my view on it, and I'm the representative, and they've elected me to make this decision. If it really went wrong, and they ultimately had the power to say, no, actually, this, but there's basically in the Swiss system, there are trigger points that have to be reached before that would actually happen. So you have an elected representative, and they are elected to make decisions exactly the same as here. But if something has gone way too far,
like a public vote with no confidence.
Well, it's essentially what it is. So that they essentially have the Swiss population have the power to stop something if it's really gone too far, but it's very rarely used because it's there, because the power is there. The politicians
don't
produce something which is much closer to to what the public want, because they have to pay more attention, because they know that if they get it wrong. And that's something that's the Swiss system has evolved since the 1200s. So it's not something that you can. Unfortunately, it's undoubtedly it's part of their psyche that that's the nature of their political relationship.
I mean,
I see that's the problem for me, is that I'm aware that what I'm being very naive in hoping that I can because there is this different relationship with their politicians.
Do you think that you're kind of adopting more of an extreme idealistic view, because if you go more pragmatic from the start, you'll never achieve. So if you start out over here, there's a chance you might get to a more pragmatic move.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a difficult one for me, because some of the conversations that I've had with regards to setting up a party, it's exactly that. Is that, well, how far do you want to go with this? And of course, the fact of the matter is, I'm not a conventional person. I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation if I'd be,
Which is why I wanted to talk to you. Yeah. It's fascinating to have a different view.
I'm not viewing it from a conventional point of view. I suppose the ultimate thing for me is that I look at the system. I look at the general the Western political system in the liberal Western democracy, and to me, if you look at the whole history of it and where we are right now, it just doesn't work. But we just keep recycling it. Every generation comes through and believes that they can do it better. But if you look back through the whole history of it, it's just a history of pretty consistent failure. In terms of the problem right now, the problem is that since the World Wars, we've had this period of liberal, very very strong liberal progress, which has ignored a reasonably good sized number of people and their views on the world. And the economic shift that happened from 2008 onwards has now undermined that, and we've now seen it swing back.
It's a backlash.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, and you look at that and think, well, is that just the way it has to be? Because this is exactly the conversation I've had with somebody else. Is that
it does feel cyclical.
Yeah, it is cyclical.
I mean, it's moving away from dog boilers, but I genuinely worry sometimes that we're moving towards a 1930s Germany.
Yeah,
it's just like inevitable.
Because they say it's that swing back. And you look at it and you think, well, okay, is that just is the price of the progress that we've had since the World Wars, all this progress in terms of liberal progress in society, people, everything becoming more sort of egalitarian, is the price of that eventually we hit a wall. The wall that we hit was the economic, the credit crunch, and the consequences of that are finally sort of and everything goes back. So is it a case that you do 10 steps forward and then you have to accept
5 back?
Yeah, 5 back
to move forward 5.
In order to and to me that just as I say, as I've said it to a few people, if the Swiss system didn't exist, you go, well, that is just the way it is. But the fact that it does exist is what makes me go, well, they do it completely differently. It's essentially the same thing. You have people who want to be in charge, who want to make decisions, which is entirely normal. They just have this tiny difference in the relationship between them and the people they're representing. But it makes all the difference to the satisfaction of the people who are being represented. Because